Newsbits from our ITI Abuja studios in Nigeria. I am Oluchi Madu. Thanks for logging on. In the news today, the 12th of August 2010, President Jonathan Reschuffles cabinet. Federal Executive Council approved 23 billion naira for new aircrafts, and Onyuke Dangote claim innocence. All this in a moment. President Goodluck Jonathan has inaugurated 3 new ministers, a special advisor, and 2 commissioners of the Independent National Electoral Commission. The new ministers who were cleared by the Senate on Tuesday were Chief Kenneth Gbagi, Minister of State for Education, Mrs. Yabawai Wabi, Minister of State for Finance, and Hajia Salamatu Suleiman, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs. The new special advisor is Professor Dan Adebi, who will serve as special advisor to the President on policy. Ambassador Mohammed Wali and Dr. Chris Iyimoga are the new INEC commissioners. Mr. Remi Babalola, who until Wednesday morning was the Minister of State for Finance, was elevated to a full minister. He is now in charge of the Special Duties Ministry. After the inauguration, Jonathan refuted media speculations that he was planning a major cabinet reshuffle. The president also noted that the speculations had a negative impact on government business, as individuals and organizations that had business engagements with ministries opted to stay away until the situation became clear. He, however, said that nobody would have a foreknowledge of a cabinet reshuffle whenever he decided to do so. The Federal Executive Council on Wednesday approved $154.5 million, that's about 23.07 billion naira, for the purchase of 2 new aircrafts for the Presidential Air Fleet. The Minister of Information and Communication, Professor Dora Akunyili, told journalists after FEC's meeting in Abuja on Wednesday that the Council approved the purchase of the aircraft after considering a memo from President Goodluck Jonathan. The minister added that the purchase price of the 2 Falcon 7X aircraft is about $102.2 million, while the Gulfstream G550 costs about $53.3 million. Jonathan and some members of his entourage had last month escaped an air crash where the presidential jet in which they were traveling in from Kampala, Uganda to Abuja developed a fault mid-air. This forced the pilot to return to the Kampala airport, where Jonathan and his entourage disembarked and spent another night in the Ugandan capital. Former Director General of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, NSE, Professor Ndi Okereke Onyuke, before the House of Representatives Committee on Capital Markets yesterday, denied that billions of naira were missing at the NSE under her watch. Onyuke also said that her sack by the Securities and Exchange Commission last week was politically motivated. The suspended president of the exchange, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, who also appeared before the committee later, declined making any public comment so as not to jeopardize ongoing investigation into the matter. Onyuke, who used the opportunity availed her to plead her innocence, insisted that the account of the exchange was intact and that no shareholder had ever complained over how the money of the exchange was controlled. No fewer than 9 persons, including a pregnant woman, lost their lives after an uncompleted building located at Ikole Street, Area 11, Abuja, crumbled at about 4:30 a.m. yesterday. According to sources, there were about 35 occupants who took refuge in the building because their former abodes were either demolished or they could not meet up with the exorbitant rent in the FCT. Operatives of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Federal Road Safety Commission and the Red Cross made frantic attempts to rescue the about 10 persons trapped in the rubble after rescuing 11 persons. The FCT Minister, Senator Bala Mohammed, who visited the scene, told newsmen that the developer of the property would be prosecuted for non-compliance with rules and regulations. He noted with regret that the incident was the 3rd since he assumed office and said that the FCT administration would liaise with relevant regulatory agencies in the building industry to come up with a framework to check the recurring menace of building collapse. And with that, we've come to the end of Newsbits for today. I am Oluchi Madu. Do join us again.